Today the job that I decided to tackle was refinishing the playhouse. I've been working on this house, repainting, and noted that the floor is in pretty bad shape. But this was my daughter's playhouse. I built this close to 20 years ago. My daughter's all grown up now, and I use it now to produce a small amount of energy with this wind generator. That's a homemade generator as well. But as I mentioned previously, as I was going through, I was replacing some of the wood in this. This strip up here, as I replace it, I'm replacing with this plastic wood, so I don't have to repaint and worry about replacing wood in the future. There's a corner over here on the playhouse that I basically need to replace the wood. The bottom of it is kind of rotting out, but other than that, the rest of it's in pretty good shape. And as I need to repaint or replace wood, I'm just going to put in this plastic wood. This floor's in pretty rough shape. Again, it's been in here almost 20 years. It was treated but it's seen its better days. So I'm gonna rig something up to kind of jack up these support poles off the porch, take out the old wood, and I'm going to look at replacing it with some plastic decking, so I don't have to replace this again some point in the future. Just to give you an idea, I'll show you the plans I used to create this playhouse. Back in 1993, when my daughter was just a few years old, I just went up to the library and pulled these plans out, made copies, photocopies from a book that I had, and I kind of, during the winter months, I just kind of constructed this in my garage, and then when it got springtime and got nice enough, I went ahead and assembled it. Originally, I had purchased some wood, and I let her pick out some colors, and that's what we came up with, and just kind of maintained it over the years. It's probably been at least 3 different times I've had to replace some wood and repaint it, and so now I'm looking at, like I said, just putting plastic wood into it as I need to replace wood, and also I'll probably end up siding the blue areas as well. The top part is cedar, and as you can see in the plans here, the original plans didn't have that octagon window up top. I decided to put that in myself. So there you can see the octagon window. The playhouse is designed, I built a ladder, so on the inside you can climb up to a loft, and that's a nice little sleeping area up there. Okay, so to lift my support post out of the way so I can remove the decking on the playhouse, I'm going to use this small ProLift jack, and I just found an old piece of 2x6 that I cut the length, and I'll put that in position, and we'll see if we can just jack those support posts off the porch. Okay, I got my support post in the position. Let's take her up. Alright, so that seemed to work pretty good. I got enough lift on each of those. Those boards must be pretty well rotted because it came right up off of there. All 4 posts, so I'll get busy and remove the decking. Okay, so I got my decking removed. When I originally placed this on here, this is an 8, I believe it's 8 by 8. So instead of running a 4 by 8 sheet of plywood across the porch and then one where the interior playhouse sits, which would have been the logical thing to do, I evidently ran them the other way, so long ways. So I'm going to have to trim this excess that I couldn't cut off with the circular saw. I'll probably do that with my Sawzall. Clean that up, and then I'm ready to put decking on. The treated lumber that I used on the bottom for support still looks pretty good. I might put a few additional supports in there, but overall that part looks good. As you can see, the decking over here, mainly on the edges, is where it rotted. The others in pretty good shape. Next part is getting the decking and cleaning up this area here so that I can put the decking in place. Okay, to clean up the edge, I'm using this Skill 18 volt, and we'll see how she does. Decking cleaned up here, and so we're ready to put some additional supports in, and also the new material down. So I ran up to Lowe's and I bought some of this decking, this composite decking that I'm going to use. It's sort of a gray, and these are in 8-foot lengths. They run about $14 a piece. They just fit just right for this deck. I want to add a few additional supports, so I'll extend this current support across to the back. Same thing with this side, and same thing with this middle support, and I'll also add additional supports onto the existing inner wall, and also on this outer side as well. those outside supports on, I'll just put a full board across there with a new piece of treated 8-foot 2x4. And I'll do the same there on the back. So using galvanized nails, okay, so I'm going to start with laying out my decking boards just to make sure I've got the proper spacing and everything. I'll probably just use a nail in between for some spacing, and I don't think that's really necessary but for the expansion and contraction, because this is a plastic composite, but we'll see. I need to space it so that it comes out correct, not only in the back but also in the front. So let's go ahead with that. Okay, so I laid these out, and I had bought an extra one. You see 8 on here right now. I figured I would need just a little more than 8, and that's what it turns out to be. I could space these, but it's way too much space needed to make it come flush out front. So what I'm going to need to do is take the 9th one that I purchased and rip that long ways so that I can just butt them up together. When I do that, I'll show you here in a minute, I've got about 4.5 inches left on the front. Here you can see if I push those boards flush, I have just about 4 inches left. These are actually 5.5, 5.25, I guess, somewhere around there. So I'm going to have to rip one board. I'll do that, and I'll put the cut side in the back there against the back wall, and then it should come out even on the front. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so I do not have a table saw. I'm going to use my circular saw to cut this. I've got a line, as you can see, just slightly over 4 inches, and I'm going to then go ahead and use my circular saw over here to just run down that line and rip that board to 4 inches. Actually cuts pretty nice. Okay, so this is what it looks like laid out. I put that 4-inch piece in the back, and as you can see, it comes out just right in the front. Only thing I need to do once I put the fasteners in this and screw it in place is basically just put some porch gray on the front board there, and looks like we'll be good to go. Fasteners I'm going to be using today are these composite deck screws. They're a 2.5 inch screw, and they use a Torx socket. So we're going to go ahead and begin fastening these boards in place. The boards are about a 1/2 inch on either side, so they come out with just slight bit of overhang. So we're going to go ahead and leave them at that position. So I do have a Torx bit set, but these actually came with a Torx bit in the box, so that's nice and handy. So we'll go ahead and put this bit in my drill. We can get torquing. With all the fasteners in, we're going to call this job done. Hey, if this information is useful, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, reminder bell, so that when new videos come out, you'll get a reminder. Thanks for watching.